welcome back after half term. Many of you have written to say that my videos are much better than Dad's. So here we go on the rest of the Earth topic. For the next 3 weeks, you will be completing a research project on global warming and climate change.
Oi! What's going on here? What's this? Who's this? Are you talking to year 8?
Yeah.
Oi! This is my job. I'm not going to get paid. Off you go. Go on, off. Skedaddle. Oh, sorry about that, year 8. Sometimes these children are a bit feral.
I played the parrot called Adrian.
So, now that I've got rid of the kids, we can get back to some work. As Charlotte said, you will be doing a project at home in groups for the next 3 weeks, looking at global warming and climate change. But before we get on to that, let's review the work we've done so far. On that mid-topic test, I was really pleased. Out of 155 of you, 133 people completed the test. The average score for the first run through was 80%, so very well done. I think a huge number of you can give yourself a really well-deserved pat on the back. Just highlighting that I haven't yet had completed tests from Adele, John Joy, Cassidy, Oliver, Catherine, Gianvi, Habib, Dom Alushi, Shay Humphreys, Olivia Hawkins, Ella Hampson, Eve H, Ryan Harper, Amelie Sadler-Hill, Eleanor Gavin, Freya Howard, Sam Meddins, Amelia Bowen, Lily O'Brien, Eve Davis, Emily Shern and Aidan Reid. And I do want those tests. So if you cannot get online to Educake, I will be chasing you down and sending you a hard copy to complete at home. So please do let me know if there's any problems. As ever, email me, don't send me a message on Show My Homework. But first, let's look at the 10 most poorly answered questions from that quiz. In at number 10, with just 68% correct, what is the name of the semi-molten rock that forms the mantle? It is, of course, magma. In at number 9, with just 2/3 of you getting this correct, 66%, when animals and plants die, organisms cause the decay of their bodies. Name one of these types of organism. The decomposers, particularly mushrooms or fungi and bacteria or microorganisms. In at number 8, again with 2/3 of you getting this correct. Look at the diagram of the rock cycle. What type of the rock is A? It's come out of a volcano. It is, of course, igneous. In at number 7, with just 62% of you getting this correct, who first proposed the theory of continental drift? It was, of course, this guy, Alfred Wegener. In at number 6, 61% correct. What are the Earth's crust and upper mantle cracked into? It is, of course, tectonic plates. In at number 5, just 56% of you getting this one correct. Name the process that produced the Earth's oceans from the water vapour in early Earth's atmosphere. It is, of course, condensation. Water vapour condensing to form the oceans. In at number 4, with 53% correct, just over half of you. For approximately how many millions of years have the proportions of different gases in the atmosphere been much the same as they are today? 200 million years. It's been fairly constant, though as you'll see over the next 3 weeks, that is starting to change. Now in at number 3, 52% of you getting this correct. The what is a natural reservoir for dissolved carbon dioxide? The one word that completes the sentence? The ocean! Notice it says one word, so it is the ocean or the sea. Dissolves carbon dioxide and stores it. Into the final 2, with less than half of you getting this one correct, just 47%. What organisms, apart from algae, would have needed to be present to remove carbon dioxide from the early atmosphere? You should have known this. Photosynthesis occurs in plants. Green plants. And finally, the worst answered question, with just 46% of you getting this correct. Earth's atmosphere was formed billions of years ago. What released the gases into the atmosphere? It was, of course, volcanoes. So there you have it, the 10-to-1 worst answered questions. Okay, year 8. Now you're going to need to listen quite carefully for the next bit because you're doing something a bit different to what you're used to. And the first thing you need to do is you need to sign up to the correct class in Google Classroom, because work for the next 3 weeks will be on Google Classroom. To do that, first make sure that you are signed into the correct Google account, so it's the Ulster GS account you need, and then go hunting for Google Classroom. My icon's quite near the top because I use it quite a lot with the year 12s, but you may not have used it, so it might be slightly further down. Anyway, you're looking for Google Classroom and click on that. When you are taken to Google Classroom, this may be your first class, in which case you need to click the plus icon here and join a class. The code you need is this one. Lowercase p 4, lowercase b 3 NC4. You need to put this code in where it says join class code, and then you will be able to join it. And when you've joined it, you should have an icon that looks a little bit like this. Click on that and you will see down here that there is an assignment waiting for you. So that is due, I've said Friday by 5 o'clock. This will vary depending on which class you are. Look on Show My Homework to see when yours is due. It will be due at the end of your normal lesson, but they must all be ready, all be submitted by Friday at 5 o'clock. Click on this and you will probably get the instructions like this. This work will cover the final 3 lessons of the Earth and Atmosphere topic. As with previous topics, we're ending with a project that is designed to enhance your working scientifically skills. The first thing you need to do is work out what group you're in. So click on this and identify who you are in a group with. You are still in groups with classes, so KFD is all together and MJI is all together. Just for a change, I have arranged you alphabetically by first name, just so you might be with some slightly different people. So for example, Alistair, Amelie, Angelique and Ariane, they are all group 18. So you need to work out who's in your group. Email the other members of your group to decide who is in charge. Most groups have 4 students, some of them have only 3 people. I want to stress, if you're one of those people who's in a group of only 3, I'm not going to expect you to do all the work that's set for 4 people, just do the bits that are assigned to you. You will not have to do more work. In case you can't find or don't know student email addresses, it's fairly straightforward. It's 2 letters of their first name, followed by up to 5 letters of their surname, followed by 18 at ulstergs.com. For example, Adrian Nixon would be 2 letters AD, Nix are the first 5, adnix 18 at ulstergs.com. If you had someone called Matthew Till, they would be MA, for the first 2 letters of the first name. Their surname's only 4 letters, so it would just be mattil18 at ulstergs.com. So once you have got in email contact and decided who is the group captain, the group captain should open the climate change presentation here. Open it with Google Slides. And then There we go. Took a while. Had me worried for a bit. They will want to share the document. Type in the names of the people that you want to share it with. Hopefully it will recognise their email addresses. Also, if you could share it with me, that would be useful as well. Then I know that you're doing the work. Feel free to have a look at it. It is 10 pages, but that is for 3 lessons for 4 of you. And if you zoom in here, if you zoom in here, you will be able to see what needs doing. So, for example, lesson 1, student A. What is the natural greenhouse effect? This should be completed by the first lesson by student A. Use this box to explain the greenhouse effect. You must include a diagram in your description. There is some help there. And there are some pointers for you. Make sure you only talk about the natural greenhouse effect. Many sites confuse the natural greenhouse effect with global warming, sometimes called the enhanced greenhouse effect. So make sure you just talk about the natural greenhouse effect. You can also mention which other planets have a greenhouse effect and how cold the Earth would be without the greenhouse effect. That is all student A has to do for the first lesson. Lesson 1, student B. Explain what we mean by global warming and climate change. You should make it clear that global warming is different to the greenhouse effect. You could discuss the difference between weather and climate. Don't focus on the causes of global warming or the consequences of global warming, as these are covered by students C and D. And again, there are some links here for help. Student C, in the first lesson, you should explain all the things that humans are doing that might be causing global warming. The list includes, but is not limited to, burning fossil fuels, deforestation, farming cattle, landfill sites. You can fill the box with pictures rather than words, provided enough explanation is given as to how these processes cause global warming. Again, there's some help there, but the point of this project is you do your independent research skills. You'll notice this is a longer box. I would expect that this would be assigned to a slightly more confident student. So, as I said, ideally students C and D should be more confident. And if you have a student D, what are the possible consequences of global warming? Use the box to explain the possible consequence of global warming and climate change. Who will be most affected? Will anyone benefit? Which other species will be affected? Will any species benefit from global warming? And some help there, but you should really be thinking about trying to find your own evidence as well. So that is what you need to fill in. As it says here, bear in mind that A and B will need to work together in lesson 2, so make sure that they are compatible. C and D will need to work together for lesson 2, if there is a student D, and students C and D have a slightly more challenging task in each lesson. If you do want to rotate who are students C and D, for fairness, that's fine if you will want to, but if you have someone who is less confident, then perhaps leave them as student A or B throughout the whole 3 weeks. Follow the instructions in the document, complete the work for lesson 1. Each student is responsible for their own box in the first lesson. Spend about 30 to 40 minutes on your task. If you finish early, help someone else to complete their task. This is very new. I am expecting some of you may struggle to get everything to work. Feel free to email me if you have any problems. Otherwise, do this in your normal chemistry slot. You don't all have to work at the same time, but I do need someone to take charge in each group. Good luck.